Hello everyone, it's Steve from stevesandella.com. How are you today? I am back in the car, but I am not driving. Not driving. I wanted to do a video because it's been actually a couple of months since I've done a video. I'm a little sick. It's not ideal conditions. I've got bronchitis and sinus infection, and it's cold. I'm sitting in my car getting ready to head out to work to start my day, and going through my morning, I realized that I struggle with certain things, and I always try to come on and make videos about solutions and different things that I've done and different things that have helped me, because obviously my goal is to share information with other people to try to help them help you. And sometimes you just have to talk about things that you struggle with, and it's not necessarily about a solution, but about things that you're trying. And one of the things that I'm trying right now is to find balance. I haven't put a video up in a couple of months, and the reason why is I'm back at school. I'm taking a couple of courses. I'm taking literature and mathematics at the moment, and I have 3 children. I'm married. I have a full-time job. I have a lot going on, and trying to find balance is tricky when you have so many other things pulling you in different directions. And it's sort of like, the scales right now. It's school, it's family always, it's work, but as this goes up, this comes down, and this is the social media presence. This is making videos and sharing content and trying to connect with others, and that's hard for me. I've also been doing a lot of writing, which means I'm sharing more on my blog, stevesandella.com. If you go there, you can see some of the things that I've been writing. So even though I haven't been putting out videos, I've actually been writing. But the challenge is finding that balance, being able to deal with this part of our lives, right? I'm sure you out there have dealt with it yourselves and are probably currently dealing with it. For most of my life, where my anxiety was really high, the anxiety was up here and it pushed everything else down. So what ended up happening was I would get so worked up and anxious about things, it took all of my focus, and my balance for my focus and what I could do mentally, and then what would lead into what I could do physically, was limited because I was so in an anxious mindset. That's where the high point of that scale was. And I struggled, and I continue to struggle with that balance because I find I'm an all or nothing type of person. Maybe you can relate. When I get really excited about something, I dive in with both feet, and I tend to push other things aside a little bit when I do that. And I don't think that that's uncommon. I think if you look at people who are successful, what you're going to find is that success came at a price. Many people who are very successful in business sometimes aren't very successful in their personal lives, because it's the balance. The business and the success is here, and the personal life is here. And I think one of the challenges and one of the keys to really finding happiness, first, is recognizing that things aren't always going to be in balance. Just having the sort of cognitive awareness that that's the situation helps. Anytime that you can engage the rational part of your brain and just recognize something is happening, that's going to be beneficial. So when you can at least recognize when something is out of balance, that's going to go a long way. Now, sometimes you have to basically say, you know what, this is out of balance, and it's going to be out of balance for a little while because I need to do X, Y, and Z in order to achieve something else. And this comes into, when you're dealing with your personal, taking care of yourself. Oftentimes we fall out of balance because we're so busy trying to help other people if you're like me, who's a sort of a people pleaser, you're so busy trying to help everyone else that you neglect yourself. That's a form of being out of balance. Again, when you're totally committed to work and your family life struggles, and sometimes balance is even more subtle than that. You know, if you're having issues with finances or money, maybe your balance as far as where your investments and where your money is actually going. You're paying this, but you're not paying this. So that's out of balance. So balance plays a sort of critical role across the board in a lot of different things that we do. And just having that sort of mental acknowledgement that something is out of balance and making a decision as to whether you're going to commit to leaving it out of balance for a little while because maybe that's what you need to do, or saying, all right, I'm recognizing that this is out of balance. What do I do about it? And what I've found is, and I talk about this a lot, is that you have to recognize small daily actions that you can take that are going to lead to long-term solutions. Because we spend too much time looking at the big picture sometimes, especially people with anxiety. You know, we think that we have to solve the big problems today. And sometimes that solution is going to be 6 months or a year or even 5 years down the road. And that's so difficult for us to wrap our heads around, especially in a society where a lot of people are preaching this, you know, live for today because tomorrow isn't promised to anyone. And while that is true, you also have to take into consideration the fact that there's a good chance that you're going to wake up tomorrow and the next day and the next day. And if you simply live for today and don't plan for tomorrow, you're going to get yourself into trouble. I could go out and spend every dollar I have today on all sorts of crazy stuff, for having the experience, for doing fun things and whatever, just because, hey, tomorrow isn't promised to me. But then if I wake up tomorrow and I'm broke and I can't put food on the table and I can't pay my bills, I'm going to be in trouble. Life is quick. Life can change suddenly. But life is also long, and we have to, again, find that balance between living in the moment and recognizing that there's a bigger picture at play. And if you find that balance, you can do both. I spend a lot of time figuring out the day-to-day action that's going to impact long-term. And then once I figure out the long-term, then I just focus on the day-to-day. And when you notice that you're out of balance, you need to make some decisions about changes that you need to make on a day-to-day level. And when you do that and you start saying, all right, if I'm neglecting this part of my life, I need to bring that. So day-to-day, I'm going to commit 1 hour in the evening. If you feel like your work is overshadowing your family, you need to say, all right, I'm going to commit X number, an hour, 2 hours, whatever, an entire evening of family time. And what that's going to do is you may not be able to do work, or do some of the things that you think you want to do career-wise in the evening. It's going to do this. But that, if you're committed to lifting this lower side up, this upper side has to come down somewhere. There's only so many hours in the day, and there's only so much that we can do. And sometimes it's a matter of just taking action. And that's what the final thing that I'll say here, is starting to run a little bit long. The final thing that I'll say is sometimes the best way to sort of kick yourself in the ass is to just take action. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't have to be completely planned, and it doesn't have to be exactly the right thing. The great can be the enemy of the good. And, we can struggle with not taking action because we think that everything that we do has to be perfect, and it doesn't have to be perfect. It just has to be. You have to put it into action. You have to move forward in some way. If you're going to try to plan out every step along the way, but you're going to stand still while you try to plan, you're never going to get anywhere. Sometimes you just have to take those first few clumsy steps. And this video, I apologize if it comes across this way, but feels like one of those clumsy steps to getting back into a routine of sharing more content online, of getting this up here balanced for me. Again, my voice is a little scratchy and a little rough, and I apologize. But I don't want to stay out of balance with this anymore. So this is my attempt of taking a very clumsy public step and sort of practicing what I preach and putting it out there because it's important. You have to take daily action, and this is my little daily action. So let me know, do you struggle with things that are in balance? Do you have something in your life right now that is out of balance? Comment in the comment section below and let me know. What do you want to try to achieve balance? If you have an idea that helps, share it. Maybe it's going to help someone else. And if you have a question, put it down there. Myself or maybe someone else will have an answer for you that'll help. All right, if you haven't, do me a favor, hit that subscribe button so you can find out, ding that little bell there, and I'll let you know every time I post a new video, which will be happening more and more. And I'm going to call it a day because my voice is starting to go. All right, that's it from me. That's all I got to say. I love you guys. I'm glad to be back doing this, sharing some more content, and there'll be more stuff coming. I promise. All right, until we talk again, and we will talk again, I hope you have an amazing day.